Hey gardeners, welcome back. So today we are going to be at the Orlando 2025 Landscape Show. I thought we'd walk through here, touch on some of these really cool species, some really interesting trees that I can just kind of maybe identify for you guys. There might be some new things in here that you guys can use in your garden. So it's all about the shopping list. Come on, you guys, let's check it all out. All right, you guys, so I am so geeked about this European fan palm behind me. Now, you guys, if you saw last week's video, you saw the European fan palm in my backyard, which this one kind of puts it to shame. But look at this bad boy. Oh my goodness. I know most people think that they stay kind of small and compact and low to the ground and grow super slow, and that they do. But when they do take off, look at the trunks, look at the possibilities of what this tree offers. I mean, I just love this trunk line. Now, this guy's probably a good 30 years old, so he's been in the ground a long time, but absolutely a stunner. If you've got that spot in your garden, maybe you've got a big entrance way where you kind of want something really dazzling coming out of the middle of it, like where some people would put a fountain, but you're kind of a palm person. Something like that would be ideal to have, kind of just really showcasing the center of that island. I would take this guy home if I could fit it in my car. All right, and the surrounding trees that are making this jungle come to life is there is a medjool palm right here that looks like it is a good maybe 10 foot of clear trunk here. This has been diamond cut to give you this type of look, so this always lasts. They put a little bit of a sheen on it to kind of give it some impact, and you can do that throughout the years, but it will dull out over time. However, that big vertical frond is just pretty magnificent. It's definitely not for every home, but it's definitely something that you can incorporate at the front of a driveway or any spot that you might want something super grand. Ask your landscaper to look into a medjool palm because they're pretty stunning and they can handle some of those colder temperatures from the northern climate. I love the way it looks. I don't get to use it very often in my landscapes, but what a great exotic it is here. Next to us here is a Jatropha tree. It is a tree standard in a 25-gallon container and in gorgeous bloom right now, even amongst being in this building for 3 days. So it's absolutely a stunner. Oh gosh, they just got so many great things going on here. A little Tipicina tree, and then they framed it with another medjool. What a statement piece. All right, you guys, so let's pop into the next booth. All right, you guys, we're at Palmco. This is a fabulous booth, and we've been speaking here with Matt, and he's going to just filling us in on everything. They've got such a gorgeous selection of palm trees. Matt was explaining how easy it is to maintain a clumping bamboo versus a running, and why it's a pretty good choice if you have kind of a narrow area that you want to get some really good coverage in. So I'm going to let Matt explain it to you guys.
That's clumping bamboo. Clumping, but the ones back here are the easiest ones to look at. Clumping bamboo will stay real tight together, like this. Where running bamboo, if you plant it here, it might pop up on the other side of your driveway or the sidewalk. Trimming bamboo is really nice too. These bamboos, like this one here in particular, this bamboo gets 15 feet tall. We keep it at this nice hedge right here at, well, this one's about 2 feet. This one back here, this is 25, 30-foot bamboos. Back at our office, we keep them about 12 feet. Some of them 6 feet. You got to trim them a little more often in the summer, very little in the winter. Once you cut bamboo, it stops growing up and starts pushing out laterally. So the more you trim it, the more you're going to get thicker. You're just going to have a nice, almost a zero lot line with this stuff. It's fantastic. Stay away from the running bamboo though, especially in Florida, because it just grows and grows and grows. Might even be illegal in Florida. Fact check me on that one. But nonetheless, the bigger the columns though, the further they're going to spread out, but they're going to stay tight together. This is my favorite. This is dwarf Buddha belly bamboo. Gets about 15 feet tall. I think it has a great Dr. Seuss look to it. Putting it up against the wall. This bamboo is usually open at the bottom like this. When it's younger, it'll be full, but eventually it'll get naturally like this. We didn't do this. Golden Goddess, it's a multiplex. Gets real thick. You can see all the columns in here. Golden Goddess bamboo. This one back here, by far the most common one we sell popular. This is graceful bamboo, or Textilis gracilis. Fantastic. Another one of my favorites, Asian lemon bamboo. This golden buttery columns with these green highlights in them. That's why we trimmed it up like this, about 2 to 3 feet, so you can see this again against a wall or a fence. Fantastic. Yeah, I love it. And then the new growth, this one right here. It looks like a piece of asparagus. I love it.
It sure does.
Yeah. Well, we trim it here when we're putting it into the containers, and then it'll shoot up.
Yeah.
But it won't go much taller than this. What The new columns that come up are the ones that are gonna get taller. But again, only about 15 feet on this variety. But the more you trim it, again, the thicker and denser it's gonna get. You can see it's got some new growth coming out here. But just keep trimming it. But you don't have to. You can just let it grow naturally and not have this edge look. Yeah, which is, you have both options.
Thank you so much, Matt. I don't know if you guys saw this beauty over here, but this is a fishtail palm. Now, this is one that you do want to get quite large, but look at this field-grown variety. This is about 10 foot tall, but this is what to expect. See how these fronds, I mean, just look at how they kind of come and fold over. They give you more of that natural look. I just absolutely love this tree. Now, you mix this tree, this kind of frond in with something like the bamboos, and you guys can really see how those textures all mix together. I mean, everything layers together with that real tropical feel. You don't need a ton of material. This is not a big space. This would be my yard right here. And look at these pathways that are created by this little magical space. I mean, just so well done, you guys. It's just so beautiful. And we even got a little fountain going on in here. So I'm just gonna hang here for the rest of the show. No, just kidding. We're gonna go see other booths. We are at 305 Farms. This is a Homestead location. Absolutely beautiful selection of palms. Now, I know it's not always common knowledge that they come in triples or quads or multi-trunks, but coconut palms absolutely do and can be a fantastic specimen to work with, especially if you guys have those centerpieces that you want something really dynamic and you want to kind of just really showcase it. These coconut palms will do the trick. So I love the way they look in this front entranceway. And I think that's kind of how they're meant to be. Homestead is known for their soil that really holds and retains the water. So that's why these trees have such a thick trunk line to them. So we've got a mix of Christmas. We've got a double Sylvester right there. We've got a thatch palm. And then we're outlined with some of the prettiest and chunkiest areca palms I have ever seen. Look at these areca palms. Oh my goodness, look at the chunkiness to them. Now this is a field grown, so this has been dug up and taken out. They've trimmed these, and you can kind of see how they've trimmed these all nice and tight, so that way you have the really big fan canopy at the top. This dark green is one of those things that are hard to keep when you have an areca palm, so that's why the good soil is so important for these particular trees, because they can really be deficient in magnesium and then have a tendency to turn a little bit golden, especially if they're in the sun. All right, you guys, so we popped in real quick to Epic Stoneworks. This is a super cool product that is actually native to Florida, that's made here, that these guys are harvesting and creating these beautiful displays. And Michael here is going to tell us a little bit about it.
This is a local material that we're producing down in our mine in Florida City. This comes anywhere between 30 feet to 70 feet below the surface. Wow. When you start to get to those depths, the compaction, the heat, and the actual composition of the material changes. So we switch from a porous material like you see here with the oolite. This is a topical material, very soft. It's right there at the surface. And then when you go down to the depths of what we're talking about with the Hemingway, you switch over to a more shell-railed material. It's got quartzite, it shines, and it's very white. So it's a very dense material as well.
These are cut not to a specific pattern, or they're...
This is what we call our flagstone format. Okay. So it's very natural. We basically slice the boulders like a loaf of bread. And these are 2-inch slices. And that's what gives us the natural shape of that material.
How cool.
So this is the most natural planter that we offer. We call it our boulder planter. So what we've done basically is taken a natural boulder out of the ground and cut the flat top and bottom. And after we do that, we come back and trowel it into the actual trough that you see there. This is actually a typical installation of this material. This is a privacy wall that we've made an example of here. So we're using the oolite column motifs with the Kumaru privacy fence. I believe it's called louvering the wood. And that way you kind of have a little bit of privacy between the street and your property.
Awesome. Pretty impressive in person. I hope that comes across on camera. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you for having us.
All right, gardeners, so I have found the gem in the nursery show today. We've really come into a very, very cool display. So this is David. David is with Garden Industries. He's created this little masterpiece that I kind of just want to sit in and relax in. Every little detail I feel has really been addressed, and it is not super symmetrical. It is not super outlined where you just have a row and a row and a row, because you guys know how I feel about that. Just the perfect amount of symmetry and then a break in the garden. A lot of interesting different textures and colors, and that is just my jam.
Okay, so this is Opercula caryaticarii. This is probably 75 years old. I know for a fact there's one here at Lou Gardens in Orlando, which Eric told me they've had for 20 years, and it's about this big.
Wow.
Similar family to Desert Rose.
Oh yeah, I can see the restriction.
Also from Madagascar, and I know people who go to Madagascar for business, and they've told me they've never seen one this big.
Look at this.
So this is a lot of fun collected stuff.
Yes. You can see the relationship. You can see how it's related to the desert rose and how cool it is. But then you've got this just craziness of this vine. For the show, it bloomed for the first time. I don't know if you guys got that. How cool is that? And what do we have back here?
That is Euphorbia stenoclada, which is also from Madagascar. They call it a silver thicket. And this won the Cool Product Award for the show.
It did.
It is pokey and sappy, but everybody touched it.
Yeah.
It's just human nature because everybody has stuck their hand in it.
And then we have a collection of normal tropicals. And that's what I love about gardening.
Let's try some new things.
Let's check out some new things.
Things here we actually hybridized in the nursery because in my spare time I have nothing else to do. I make new plants. So this allocation is called Paul's Pleasure.
Did I not tell you guys why I love David?
And I've had 2 tissue companies come to me during the show and like, you need to give that to us. So somebody's going to get this into TC. This is a Tabernamentana from Australia that I hybridized and made a polka dot one that I named after my son. So it's called Sebastian Storm because he was in a really bad mood that day because he's 13 and that's what they do. So I named that one after him. This is named after my brother, Paul's Pleated.
Paul's Pleated. Oh my goodness. Look at the leaf on this, you guys. Oh, how cool.
So there's a begonia over there that was named after me. I did not do it. I would not do that. And this anthurium over here, which in the cooler weather would turn purple, is named after one of my great nieces. I'm a big proponent of putting names on plants for posterity.
I feel like I'm surrounded by your family. This is...
There it is.
And this guy back here?
This is a philodendron Wardsowixii, arboreal type. Now they will run along and you can make a ground cover, but they really want to climb. So I took these back several months ago and I stuck 3 in a pot and put a big stick in the middle and said, just let them climb for the show.
I love it. And the scarf is very cool too, just to keep it nice and toasty.
Actually, a magazine came here and asked me what the inspiration for the scarf was, and the inspiration was I need to tie it to a stick. But they're going to put it as the cool new product or cool new garden idea in their next issue. So when you see your grandma's scarves tied to trees for the next 3 years, it happened here first.
You heard it here, you guys. David started that trend.
Scoop, fabric on a trunk.
All right, you guys, so let's head on to the next one before they close up on us. And this booth is absolutely stunning with all of the palm tree varieties that they have to work with here. You don't always get to see them so up close and personal without them being surrounded in a field. So this is a Parotis palm. It has individual trunks, kind of like a European fan palm, but it grows straight up. I'll get Bryce to put in a picture of what that looks like when it's fully matured. I think that they're a little bit underrated because they are a cool backdrop palm to a landscape, and they kind of give you that naturalistic look. And then right behind Bryce here, there is a young triangle fan palm. I mean, look how this baby is. When you're looking at a young tree, you guys, this is the perfect specimen of a young tree, other than it being tilted. It's a little tilted. But what's great about this, it has great color. It has a nice, solid, flat fan, really nice grouping of upper fronds, and you can really see how this is going to create a beautiful fan. So when you guys are looking in the nursery and you're looking for a 25-gallon tree, this is a nice, young triangle fan palm. This is a mule palm. It was in a recent video, and these are a mix between a pindo and a queen palm. Absolutely a stunner as they really mature and open up. And then back here, we have a collection of Chinese fan palms, lady palms, which are the Rafis variety. So right next to that palm tree grouping is a ribbon palm. This one is fairly young, only about 2 foot of wood, but a beautiful tree, nice color in the thatch here. They did a blunt cut to it, so this is a kind of a nice, cool, clean look. As the tree gets bigger, then they'll do more of a diamond cut, which is just a little bit fancier look to the tree. And you can just kind of see this is a perfect entranceway tree grouping or on the corner of the house. This is something that can really handle those cold temperatures. So for you guys up in Orlando and Jacksonville area, these trees will do super, super well as your kind of nice, sturdy, strong trees to the end. You can bring them in like this. You can bring them in already nice and matured. They do grow nice and fast. So they're a tree that really can take hold and become a good anchor tree. And this is so cool, you guys. I mean, look at this sea grape. They framed it into a tree. So this is what you call a sea grape standard. So if you don't want one that has a multi-stem, this is a cool tree variety that you can kind of keep nice and compact. Now these guys take some work, so they're not for the young gardeners. They're for more established gardeners, but they're definitely a cool tree to incorporate. And then this mamma jamma right behind us. Look at this Bismarck palm. Oh my goodness. You can tell it's doing what it's meant to be doing, which is the centerpiece of the area. This is directly what the focus is all about. Everybody else is just casts and guest stars in this drama. This is the drama in the garden. I love how Bismarcks do that. You're gonna need some room for these bad boys. They're definitely a tree that needs some room to breathe, some spreading ability. So they're not so much for close neighbors, but if you've got that corner in your yard, or if you've got that nice island in the front that you need some power popping out of it, a Bismarck palm with that silver contrast of color is pretty stunning in the garden. And then to pair it, we've got a silver buttonwood bush over here. These have kind of a soft, almost like a lamb's ear kind of texture to them. They're beautiful as a bush, which is fabulous because they're a Florida native. And then we've got a tree standard over this way. And this is kind of my favorite way to use them. I like it when they have a clear trunk to them and they're more of this cone-shaped tree. They make a beautiful little feature in the garden. Don't get too large, and you can maintain them this way forever and ever. So that's kind of a nice feature when you kind of want a tree that has contrast, especially say you guys have got, big groups of arecas or big groups of something dark green behind you, and then you need something to pop or brightness of color. This silver does a great job of doing that. This is a great full sun tree option. If I could take this tree home with me, I would. This is a European olive tree, obviously. It's a nice 65-gallon size. This is a tree variety, but it's something that grew from a shrub into a tree form. And it really has this cool grapevine trunk already established. What a great shape this tree is going to offer in no time. It's really going to be a stunner out in the garden. I can't imagine what it's going to look like in a few years and really just become a specimen in the space. Right over here, we have the Meta Podocarpus. Now, this is a little bit harder to find, but if you guys can find a metapodocarpus over your typical podocarpus, they are denser, they are fuller, they grow slower. They're to me, a much nicer variety. They are a little bit more expensive than the regular podocarpus, but you definitely get paid back for it. It's just an overall denser tree. So for the size that you would buy this in, if you bought in a 3-gallon size, it's such a better deal because it's going to be a chunkier version of itself in a 3-gallon size. These guys chunk out a lot faster. So the metapodocarpus are really the way to go if you can find them. You guys, check out this King Sago. Oh my goodness. Now this is a bad mamma jamma. This is an old guy from Things That Grow, and you can see what a specimen. They're all about the specimens in this nursery. So if you guys are wanting something super special and you're near the Groveland area, this might be might be one to check out. Oh my goodness, what a gorgeous, gorgeous tree. So I know oftentimes, you guys, when we're putting together designs or when you guys are calling in and you're shopping at nurseries, you're looking at the difference of field-grown material over potted material. Most nurseries carry mostly potted material, but in some cases, if you're working with a landscape company and they have the machinery to move it, you can really tell the difference with field-grown material. This is called B&B, and it's burlap wrapped. And this is what a lot of landscapers choose. Obviously, the effort of the installation is involved. You could install a tree that is more established, that's more dense, that's really just an overall chunkier, fuller caliber kind of tree over a potted tree that might be the same size, but you can really see the significant difference. These are all field-grown trees, and you really feel like these guys have had some growth. Now, if this tree were in a pot, it would be in a 65-gallon pot, and it would be about half the size, half of the thickness that you see in this trunk. It would be much, much more narrow, and the canopy, because it's in a smaller pot, the canopy itself would be more condensed. They wouldn't be as aggressive. They would be more like in line with this and more vertical. So if you have the option, if there's choice involved and you can go with field grow material, always go that way because I try to go that way when I can. All right, you guys, so you know that I'm always stressing about really taking good care of your plants and your trees. That's the best way to protect your investment, everything that you put into it. So I'm here with Gary at Perfect Palm, and he's going to just kind of explain a little bit about his product.
So Perfect Palm was developed through decades of actually using other products and finding the shortcomings and pitfalls of those that just didn't work across everything in the industry for containers, in-ground, and fertilizer that can be used at the time of planting. And as growers ourselves, we needed something that would work across the board on everything instead of having to blend over and over again for ourselves or customers. So through years of research and trying different products and methods and feeding techniques, we came up with Perfect Palm fertilizer years ago, and then incorporated the newest coatings, XCU coatings, and made a new feeding method of smaller spoon feeding methods to where you use light feeding more often, so it reduces the chance of leaching, runoff, and harmful environmental factors that outdated fertilizers did that only fed a few times a year doing much heavier feedings. So this is much more ecologically friendly. You can reuse the pails. It's got the scoopers in there, which the customers are finding easy to use. And it has dual forms of ingredients, which a lot of the other fertilizers don't. If your pH is neutral, sometimes iron or magnesium doesn't uptake. So we included 2 forms of that as well, and very high levels of nutrients. So it's not a lot of fillers. So without the fillers, it allows us to use smaller amounts more often and even get better results. You can use it year-round, and even if you're in northern Florida or areas of cold, it can even increase their cold tolerance and boost their resilience after the freeze, because you can get freeze-induced deficiencies of boron and manganese. So a lot of this has been backed by studies of the University of Florida, and the potassium levels, the uptake in those actually increased their hardiness for freeze prior to the freeze as well. So it's one of the few products that's out right now that you can use for in-ground and container material, and even at the time of install. So it's great for installs, follow-up care, maintenance, and use on all different palms.
As soon as I was talking to Gary, I was like, oh, so there's a lot there that I didn't realize, really going to take it to the whole next level. We get a lot of you guys concerned about when we get those cold snaps. And I know that you guys are just like me, and you're planting those tropicals just a little bit past your zone. Now, this is a product that really could help save you in the long run and get some of those favorites in your garden without, without as much worries. All right, you guys, and I'll put the link down in the description down below for any of you guys interested. Well, hey, you guys, I want to slide in here real quick with a couple honorable mentions. I wanted to specifically mention these nurseries because they are open to the public, which a lot of some of these bigger nurseries are not. The one nursery is a very new one, and I actually got to meet this gentleman, Ben. He's from Sevens Nursery. They're here in Sebastian, Florida. It's a fairly young nursery, but it is charming. I checked them out online. I got to meet him and his wife. Cute young family, and they have such a lovely display online. So can't wait to check out their nursery coming up. But I thought you guys might enjoy them because they have a lot of the same plant material that I use pretty often and I show in these videos. The next nursery is a larger nursery, but they are open to the public. You do need to kind of make an appointment if you kind of want to walk through the gardens with them. But they are out of Miami, Florida. It's called RDM Landscape Services. They're actually able to help with maybe some landscape plans that you might have generated, and you kind of want to just kind of get a big bulk of it at one nursery. This might be a great location to go. And the next one, this nursery is a nursery that I go to anytime I'm in the area just because it is such a cool place to see. I wish I had gotten a chance to go through the booth with you guys because they had a gorgeous booth. Every year they do a beautiful booth, but it's called Excelsia Gardens. They are out of Loxahatchee, Florida. They have such a beautiful selection of some of the most gorgeous tropicals. They have a nice walkway pass through the greenhouses, and it's just got a beautiful tropical display. So if you're looking for maybe some inspiration, this is a great place to stop and check out. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I will see you next week. Please check out last week's video of our backyard garden tour that had some of these cool tropicals in it. So thanks so much. Take care. See you next week. Bye-bye.